eclipse. Well, today is Monday, April 8th, 2024, Eclipse Day. We're at Mineola, staying on a fairly new overpass over the east end of the station platform here, as you witness 2052 heading from New York Grand Central to Ronkonkoma. From the steps of the overpass, you get some really good vantage points here. Tracks on the left of the Oyster Bay branch. It's where it starts here at Nassau 2 interlocking. All right, we're looking west on the east end of the platform off of track number 2, and it's 1:45 p.m. The eclipse, it's going to be a solar eclipse, which about almost 90% of the sun will be covered. The eclipse will start around 2:10, reach its peak around 3:25, and be over around 4:37 p.m. thereabouts. We will stay here for the entire duration of the eclipse, getting all the trains, and although I won't be looking at the sun and I won't be pointing the camera at the sun, you'll get to see how the lighting conditions change, getting darker and then reaching its darkest point around 3:25 when train 76 comes in, and then brightening up after that until the eclipse is over. Right where I'm standing right now, it would have been impossible for me to stand here up until 2021. This is where the original site of Nassau Tower was. And you can see the manhole cover saying LIRR Power. It was right smack there, pretty much in the center of the foundation of the tower. Now it's just a gravel garden with a few plants, with the Davenport Press restaurant on the corner of Main Street, which was once a railroad crossing that passed right by the tower. 53, here comes train 1553, Huntington to Penn Station, approaching Mineola Station. Good track sound at the Frogs at Nassau 2. Pulling out eastbound at 154 is 1552 Penn Station, Huntington. Well, this side of the station is definitely the best place to stand for this eclipse, because the sun rays will be blocked by the canopies. Westbound M9's on track 1. At 207, I'm standing on the pedestrian walkway stairwell as 1952 is stopped on the station en route from Penn Station to Ronkonkoma, and he has M9s. This overpass creates some new photo opportunities here. It's always been a very photogenic spot, but it's gotten even better. And that's a Ronkonkoma Grand Central train arriving at 2:09. The eclipse show is about to begin. 2:18, here comes 557 off the Oyster Bay branch from Oyster Bay to Jamaica. Switching to the main at Nassau 2. Well, here's 1652 heading east to Huntington out of Grand Central at 219. Well, at 239, we're standing over the old Willis Avenue grade crossing site. That's 2056 from Grand Central to Ronkonkoma, just pulled out of Mineola. And we should have 1553 going west from Huntington to Penn Station shortly. And I do notice that the sunlight is getting a little dimmer. It has sort of an unnatural look. Not something you would normally see on a day that has blue sky with high cirrus clouds. It's usually a bit brighter than that. Here, this underpass is the old, formerly Willis Avenue grade crossing. Well, 241, here comes train 1953 en route from Ronkonkoma to Penn Station. Slowing for his Mineola stop. Coming in at 248 is train 1554. Penn Station to Huntington. The sunlight is really starting to look a little dull now. Very unnatural looking. We haven't reached the peak yet. That'll happen in about a half hour or so. At 254 as it's getting noticeably dimmer is train 1555. Huntington to Penn Station with M9s.
Train to Penn Station.
And I noticed people standing on the westbound platform being very vigilant about looking up at the sky, especially the ones without glasses. Well, we're standing on the footbridge at 304. That's train 1954. Penn Station to Ronkonkoma with M7s. Get a good look at the top of the M7s here. We're about maybe 20 minutes from as much of a total eclipse as we're going to get around here. 88 to 90%. Time is 3:07. It does have more of an evening appearance. Seems more like about 6:40 p.m. than 3:10 p.m. 3:14, here comes train 1955, Ronkonkoma to Penn Station. Around the time when the eclipse reaches its maximum around here, like around maybe between 3:25 and 3:35, should have a number of eastbound trains stopping here. And should see the New York and Atlantic RS-41. Coming in with M9s is train 1654, Grand Central to Huntington. Here comes train 559 off the Oyster Bay branch for Jamaica. It's got an engine on both ends. Locomotives look tired. .324 should be reaching its peak by now as a Grand Central train arrives. Arriving at 3:25 is train 76, Jamaica Patchogue. It's got the 409 on the point with a K5 LLA horn. Apparently, this is about as dark as it's going to get. Gave me a nice little salute with the K5 LLA. As fast as he leaves, here comes another diesel, 556 stopping from Jamaica to Oyster Bay. He has to stop on track 3 so he can access the branch. Departing at 3:31 for Oyster Bay. Well, the next time I'll have a chance to rail fan in a solar eclipse like this, I'll be 90 years old. This is 1956, Penn Station to Ronkonkoma, 3:33. Approaching at 3:38 is New York and Atlantic train RS 41, heading back to Fresh Pond in Queens, running down track 1. PR20 and an MP15AC with a lot of graffiti covered hoppers. That's 2055, Ronkonkoma to Grand Central. We're about at the end of the most total part of the eclipse here. Should start to get brighter from here on out. Approaching at 3:49 is train 1556, Penn Station to Huntington. A friend of mine in Brooklyn said she saw a crescent moon in the sky. Or should I say a crescent sun? How often can you say that? But she also agreed with me that she thought it would get darker. Well, I dare not look at the sun with my cell phone or my naked eye. I'll just have to watch it on YouTube to see how it really looked. Well, at 3:51, as the skies brighten a little bit, 1557, Huntington to Penn Station. The eclipse is still going on. It's not going to be over completely until around 4:37 p.m. Then I'll move on. And catching me by surprise at 4 o'clock at 6:56, Long Island City to Port Jefferson, coming to a stop. Well, 4:10, this is train 1958 from Penn Station to Ronkonkoma. Yeah, it's getting noticeably brighter now. Well, maybe I'll get a second chance if I can live to be 90. Most of the people in my family tend to live into their 90s anyway. My uncle is alive, he's 97. And my mother's gonna be 97 in May. My father died when he was 91. So let's see what happens. train 1959 at 4:12, Ronkonkoma to Penn. Really haven't seen much triple track action here at all. Just a couple of trains, but as we move on out of here, should see a lot more. There's the resplendent 1923 built Mineola station. There were others on the south side of the tracks, but this is the one that was built on the north side. And over there you can see a statue of Charles Lindbergh holding up his dog Dingo. Looks sort of like the Statue of Liberty. He was famous for flying in 1927 the Spirit of St. Louis out of nearby Roosevelt Field to Paris. Well, time is 4:26. It's just about done. The curtain is coming down on the eclipse. It is getting noticeably brighter, but it's being neutralized by more cloud cover. But, well, you got to see a little rail fanning in an eclipse. How often do I get to do that? There's 1656 down there from Grand Central to Huntington. '27 is 1657, Huntington to Grand Central. Well, here's 1960 from Penn Station to Ronkonkoma at 4:34. As 5:58 from Hunters Point Avenue to Oyster Bay is pulling in. Well, pulling out on track 3 is 5:58. We move one station west on the main line at Merillon Avenue, and it's 5 minutes to 5. The eclipse is over, so no worries about getting blinded or having cameras ruined. But here we'll get some more high-stepping action. The triple track will be well utilized at this point. 4:58, approaching on center track 1 is 2064. Grand Central to Ronkonkoma. Spilled my orange orange juice and blew my crackers away. 5 o'clock, that was 1963. Brought Concomar to Penn Station. And at 5:02, approaching is train 18, en route from Hunters Point Avenue, heading all the way out to Montauk, stretching Long Island to the limit. And we got another diesel at 5:04, 560 from Jamaica to Oyster Bay. We'll be switching over to 3 at Nassau 1. Big train. '62, Penn Station around Concomar at 5:07. .510, approaching is another diesel, train 80. Long Island City to Patchogue. He'll be switching over to track 3 at Nassau 1 to make his Mineola stop. Here comes 563, whizzing by en route from Oyster Bay to Jamaica. Well, approaching now at 5:20 is my good buddy, train 1056. From Penn Station around Concomar. I got a couple of M3 cab rides on that train, but there are no M3s on this train tonight. .525, 657, Port Jeff to Jamaica. Approaching is train 660, Penn Station to Port Jeff. He's got 518 on the point with a great K5LA. See if I can get him to blow his horn. Better luck next time. Well, you can see here at 5:30, the sun is definitely shining much brighter than it did 2.5 hours ago. My stint in Mineola, you should notice a dimming of the sun's rays, but it never really got too dark. Not like upstate in the path of the eclipse, but I would have thought 90% coverage would have made a difference in the daylight, but it really didn't get it to the point where street lights would go on or cars' headlights would go on. Oh well. Better luck next time when I'm 90 years old. Approaching now at 5:38 is train 1964, Penn Station to Ronkonkoma. His first stop after Jamaica is Wyandanch. That train used to often have M3s, but lately the Ronkonkoma rush hour trains aren't getting them. It's 1965, Ronkonkoma to Penn Station at 5:42. Well, here's 1660 to Huntington from Grand Central. Now this is 42. Penn Station Spionk at 5:47.
53. Turning to Penn Station with a runway in 8 minutes.
I got a little salute there. Do I know that guy? Well, it's almost 6 o'clock on Eclipse Day. We move west to New Hyde Park. This will be the last place I visit today. Get some express trains. Stay here for about an hour or so. 6:02, here comes train 664. Penn Station to Port Jefferson. Plane watching isn't too bad here either. (6:04), here comes train 562 from Jamaica to Oyster Bay. Approaching at 6:07 is a real high-wheeler. Train 1662 from Grand Central to Huntington. After Grand Central, his first stop is Mineola, and then all stops to Huntington. France from Charles de Gaulle, Paris to JFK. 6:10 approaching now is train 659. Port Jefferson to Jamaica. He'll be flying through. All right, 6:11 is train 2068, Grand Central to Ronkonkoma, M9s. That's Japan Airlines from Tokyo. Oh, here's China Air Cargo coming in from Anchorage, Alaska. (1564) Penn Station to Huntington with M9s at 6:20. Arriving westbound at 6:24 is train 1663 from Huntington to Grand Central with M9s. Approaching now at 6:28 is train 698, Long Island City to Port Jefferson. Oh, here's Iceland Air, 6:15, 737 MAX from Reykjavik. Got a few heavies due in, including my favorite, Aer Lingus. Quite a change of sky from early this afternoon, considering an eclipse occurred in the middle of all of that. Well, here's 1966, Penn Station, Ronkonkoma, 6:32, makes Jamaica, Hicksville, Brentwood, Central Islip, and Ronkonkoma. There's KLM Dreamliner from Amsterdam to JFK. Next up at 6:37 is train 1064, Penn Station, Ronkonkoma. Had an M3 cab ride on this too at one time. This one I don't want to miss. My former employer, British Airways, Flight 113 from London Heathrow to JFK, 777. Aer Lingus 107 right behind him. Here comes Aer Lingus 107 from Dublin. Airbus 330. Well, here comes a prize package. Air New Zealand, flight number 2, non-stop from Auckland. Dreamliner. He's been flying for 15 plus hours.
Train to Paddington. Please exit towards the front of the train.
Actually took an airplane over a train. Well, that was a special flight. Train whizzing by was 2063. Ronkonkoma to Grand Central. Well, here comes Iberia's 6253, Airbus 330 from Madrid. The heavies are really coming in heavy. .644, here comes 22, Jamaica to Montauk. Well, over there is Finnair Flight 15 from Helsinki. With an Airbus 330. He's been flying for about a little over 8 hours. Got 2 significant heavies following him. Well, there's Singapore Airlines Flight 24, Airbus 350, non-stop from Singapore. They've been flying for almost 18 hours non-stop. When those passengers get off at JFK, you could probably blow them down with a light breath. Coming into view now is Emirates. Airbus 380. He's flying in from Milan to JFK. He's in the, he has the Destination Dubai livery on him. Up on me. That was 565, Oyster Bay to Jamaica at 6:52. There's a Virgin Airbus 330 coming in from London Heathrow. And here comes 566. Penn Station, Oyster Bay. I was set up for an airplane and that thing showed up. Well, 6:57, our last train that I'll catch on this astronomically eventful day is train 44, Penn Station to Spionk.